So Pavarotti singing Nessun Dorma is something we've all seen. We've seen the wonderful eyebrows, the handkerchief, the voice, the stage presence, the big smile, everything that made him so lovable. And I'm not saying that's not real, but it became something of a persona and something which he amplified. When he was a regular opera house tenor with a big personality and a lovely, fantastic voice, he sang rather differently. He sang more traditional, technically well. Let's just say he sang like a trained classical singer. So we're going to look now at Pavarotti singing Nessun Dorma from 1979. So he would have been 44 years old. And he's singing in concert with Dame Joan Sutherland, and her husband, Richard Bonning, is conducting. Pavarotti became something of a star overnight when he stepped in 1963 at the Royal Opera House. Joan Sutherland's husband, Richard Bonning, was in the audience. And he thought, this is a rather good tenor, and what's even better is he's rather tall. And Joan Sutherland, with her hair done and everything, was well over 6 foot. And they had planned a concert tour of Australia in 1965, and were looking for a tenor who would be tall enough to stand next to her. Pavarotti was in his 20s. I think Dame Joan was a good bit older. She taught him a trick or two when they were on the road in Australia. She taught him the power of the breath. Now, she's not singing in Nessun Dorma, but he's singing in a concert with Dame Joan Sutherland, who was something of a mentor to him. Richard Bonning was a serious musician. He was not one for selling out for commercial gain. They had plenty of commercial success, the Bonnings. It was all about being faithful to your voice and to the music. And that is what Pavarotti was when he sang this Nessun Dorma. So this is an encore from Pavarotti. But I'm still fairly convinced this was a duo concert with Dame Joan. 45-year-old Pavarotti singing Nessun Dorma in New York, the Lincoln Center. That legato. You see, so what he's done so far is just sing it really technically. It's almost Mozart the way he sings it. Singing in 2 phrases in one breath. He's singing clear, true vowels, very open vowels in the middle of his voice. That is the secret, because when he turns, he's able to go from open to covered. If you cover in the middle, where are you going to go? Nowhere. What he's sung there is, I think, rather traditional. He's not playing it up. He's not making it seem more difficult than it is. He's simply delivering this, and I think this is Richard Bonning's voice in his ear. He's saying, Luciano, just sing it. It's absolute perfection, and I love the way he sings Splendida. In later years, he went a bit sort of too breathy on that Splendida. You see, later years he was singing in parks and in stadiums, and he was using a microphone. He has to sustain and project every note. But more to the point, watch that breath, which Dame Joan Sutherland taught him. And the breath comes out at an extremely regular pace. You can actually see, as particularly when he goes high, he takes his breath, he sits on the cushion of it, it comes out at the same pace. And this allows him to then go up to the upper register, turn the vowel to a slightly darker vowel, but still keep the connection. He's not reaching for it at all. So they're top A's, they're A4s, which are really, really, really quite high notes in a male voice. He's gone through the passaggio, which was F4, but he doesn't sound high, he just sounds thrilling. And the voice is so beautifully balanced between the earth and the sky. There's this ping, but also there's this great foundation in the body. It's miraculous, really. The vowels are so clear.
Nessun Dorma as an encore. The great aria from the third act of Puccini's Turandot, sung by tenor Luciano Pavarotti. An encore on this Live from Lincoln Center program. A joint recital by Luciano Pavarotti and Dame Joan Sutherland.
I thought so. I knew it was that, but I just wanted to be sure. Yes, it was joint recital, but obviously they did some solo encores, and he came out and sang that and sang Nessun Dorma and absolutely tore up the place. But if you're Dame Joan Sutherland, how do you compete with your young protege who is a tenor who drives the audience insane? Because it really goes straight to you. You don't have to know anything about music to know that that is... Sorry, I'm quite emotional. God. Whew. I'm quite emotional actually now thinking about that. It just has such power to go straight to you, to your heart, to your soul, and to just fill you with this wondrous optimism about life, music, love, joy, friends. It's all there in his personality and all there in that sound, which is so Italian and so all-encompassing. When I hear that, I just feel like I'm in Italy. I could be in Florence, I could be in Rome, sitting there and watching the world go by and listening to people speaking in Italian and moving their arms as they speak. And I think Pavarotti came along and he literally embodied opera. He embodied being an Italian man, pasta, full of the joys of life, family, friends, ladies, throw in music and football, and you've got this dream package of a man who literally can speak to the whole world with his voice. Yes, of course, it's technically brilliant. It has to be. That's the starting point for global stardom. Yes, he does get there in the end. He can't help it. He can't help but by the end making that B4 really put you on the edge of your seat. But there's no risk involved to what he's doing. He knows what he's doing exactly, but he has a way of making it seem so exciting and a little bit dangerous. In later years, he became a little bit more of a caricature of himself, but he hadn't yet, in 1979, become as famous as he was to. Nobody knew. I think that Bonning and Sutherland had a feeling that there was something here that might eclipse everyone, and I don't think they liked that very much. But we love it. Thanks very much for listening to me going on and on about Nessun Dorma and Pavarotti. Please do subscribe to my channel and check all my other videos. There's lots and lots of exciting videos of all sorts of genres, all sorts of singing. It's William here, the Bangkok voice coach, saying goodbye from Bangkok. See you soon.
Nessun Dorma as an encore. The great aria from the third act of Puccini's Turandot, sung by tenor Luciano Pavarotti.